Welcome back to the Who's Right podcast. Let's go. I can't even get words out my mouth. Let's go. First series win of the year against a good Reds team. But before we get started, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, give us your comments because we're going to be talking about a lot today. So before we get started, Victor, how you doing?
I told y'all. What I tell you last time we talked? I told you we gonna get the series win, and that's what happened. I mean, I might not always be right about the players, but I'm right about my team, and I'm right about some things. And but I'm just happy, like you said, that we actually pulled off a series win. Could have gotten the sweep, but it's baseball. Those kinds of things happen. It's still early in the season. I'm just glad that we're going into Atlanta with some momentum.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. But before we break this game, the series down, got some news. Drew Gilbert hit the IL, the minor league IL, with a hamstring. I don't know if you guys saw he tried to stay in the game and tough it out. And this is one of the things that a young player needs to kind of learn. Because you see Nimmo. Nimmo felt his hamstring a little bit, and he told people, and he sat. Drew Gilbert tried to play through it. We all love that tough mindset, but you also got to know when to kind of cut it off. I hope that he didn't aggravate it to the point that he's missing more time than he should be. Hope he's still missing the minimum amount of time because this will hurt his development if he has to miss more than a month if it's a long time.
Yeah, and it's I mean, honestly, it might be for the better. Get him to slow down, like you said, because he didn't start off the season that hot. He was 6 for 25 this season. That's a 240 average, and it's a slower start than we thought he'd get to. And it might be one of those things that he was excited to be in the Mets, with a potential to play for the major league team, and he ended up working himself out of the running this year. Well, not this year because he's going to come back. He's only on the 7-day injured list. He's going to bounce back, but it gives him time to take a breather, to get under control, get his mind right as well as he tries to develop and put up the same numbers that he did last year in Double A, because he was batting 290 last year and with 381 on base percentage. And I think he can get back to that level, but he just needs to slow down a little bit. But it's good that we can kind of put that in the back of our mind while the other guys that are playing center field right now in the outfield have been actually playing pretty decently. So we don't have to. I wouldn't want to bring him up just because we think that we need him. And this makes it a little easier for us to ease our minds.
Well, I mean, he was never going to come up until before June, regardless. So, I mean, that was never a concern of mine. If June came around and Taylor and Bader still giving us what they're giving us, then we might have been calling for him. But on a different note, Alex Ramirez looks kind of really good. Over 1,000 OPS at his start at Double A in Binghamton, and he's actually hit his first home run today. And he's all he and the thing is he's on the 40 man. So that's an easy call up as well. So if he's the one that's actually playing well, he might get the call up. So you never know.
Yeah, for sure. And he's one of the guys that we were advocating for at the beginning of the year when everyone was kind of writing him off because he's only 20 years old. He's still got a lot of time to develop his stuff. I think he's going to turn 21 this year, but he's uh he's one of the top prospects that we expected to play well. And if we need to bring him up at some point, then that'd be great too. But honestly, like I said, I feel like Tyrone Taylor has been providing enough of a bat to kind of quiet these discussions of bringing up minor league players right now. I know that it hasn't looked good because we haven't been producing runs, but he had a double today. and he was able to get on base with a bunt. So he went 2 for 4 today. And Harrison Bader, not so much. He got unlucky a couple of times, but he's starting to play more passionately and get hopefully his groove, and trying to, because he knows that Tyrone Taylor is biting at his heels, and so it gives him a little more passion to play with. So, but I like what the production that we're getting from center field has been so far, because we knew it wasn't going to be elite. It's always been they're going to be in the 8 and 9 holes, and as long as they can get on base, that's what matters. And this series, they showed us that they can get on base.
Well, at least Tyrone Taylor did, you know.
Yeah.
you know. So yeah, and I agree with you. Bader's feeling the heat a little bit, because Tyrone Taylor is playing better than he is, and I think you're right. I'm gonna agree with you on that one. That Tyrone Taylor is easing well, let's say this. Let's see what happens and goes to our next topic when JDM comes up. We just got the news today that he's not joining the Mets in Atlanta. And this is honestly, this bothers me. This bothers me a whole bunch. One, because we didn't leave Vientos up. Two, I don't understand how people aren't more upset of these late signings. We got Montgomery not playing yet. We got JDM not playing yet. I mean, I don't even want to keep naming guys, but the point is that these offers were probably there at the beginning of spring training. So these offers were done and set, and Mets could have had him in all of spring training, and he would have been ready for the beginning of the season. We didn't have to see Stewart at all. You know what I'm saying? And so, and maybe Vientos would have. No, I don't know. But anyways, but the point is that these late signings are ridiculous. We need a DH for this Atlanta series. Not that it's going to be a big, we had a big shot. Atlanta's still the best team in the league. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, every bat counts. And not having JDM for the series is really frustrating to me.
And this is what I've been saying all along. I mean, I don't know why it's taken so long for people to kind of get behind the train of we should have kept the plan going forward of keeping Mark Vientos up for the time being, because all this is doing is just making us wait, for nothing, because we're as Mets fans feeling the heat, and I'm sure that the Mets organization is feeling the heat even more because the our bats haven't been there, and it's like we feel like JDM is going to bring a spark to the team that we're waiting for. And now that it's prolonged, we're going to be waiting for it even longer. As to where if you got started with 3 young guys on the team that are already playing with the fire, even if they're not playing well, they're still going to provide some passion to the team that could have sparked some more momentum on the Mets side in some of these games late. And I'm not saying that would have been Mark Vientos, because hindsight is always 2020, but it could have been. And we see that he's tearing it up in AAA right now. He's got the best on base and OPS on the team, and we knew that he was going to be able to hit AAA hitting. But at the end of the day, we had to give him an opportunity to play at the majors. So one, he can at least help our team in some of these spots while we wait for JD Martinez. But two, if we need to call on him later in the year because JD Martinez gets hurt, then he'll actually have some experience this year and not go into the season not seeing any major league hitting at all. But this is just what we knew what was going to happen with JD Martinez. He's an old man, and this is why we didn't advocate for him at the beginning. So
Yeah.
it's like we have egg in our face again.
Well, I was the one that talked about the most about his age. We don't know what he's going to give us. We're hoping that he continues to give us what he gives us, but I'm more upset at the late signing. You know what I mean? Because I don't see how that's good for baseball. I don't see how a player can miss 2 weeks because he signed late. This is not an injury. This is not anything. This is all it is. It's because he signed late, and now we don't have him for a division rival because he got to get his body right. Because like you said, he's an old man. He's a little sore. He woke up a little sore today from playing yesterday. So
Yeah,
I can't. This is just frustrating to me because I just this late signings are just crap. I mean, I don't know what else to say because he should be playing.
you're gonna see a lot of teams uh, start to be a lot wearier of signing these players late, especially when you have to you're holding up a market like that. But regardless of that, this is a classic Scott Boras thing that is soon going to die, and we're hoping that it's as soon as next year because he's got a lot of agents on, or a lot of guys on the books next year to hit free agent market. But um, we're just hoping that it's not the same thing with these big players like Juan Soto and Pete, because those are the guys that it's going to matter. JD Martinez, sure it matters just a little bit, but when you can't have your star players out there, that's when it's going to hurt the most. And I think these teams are going to quickly learn that it's not going to be worth it to even sign these guys and just start to plan for the future outside of these guys, because what are we going to do now, halfway through April, not having a proper DH in place and no plan for it? That tends to ruin the momentum of a season, to or at least the first half,
Yeah,
and if we're in a month in without a groove, then it'll take us until July to get our groove back, because it'll take this guy 2 months to get back on pace. The other guys getting used to having him on the team. It just causes a big snowball that, like you said, is not worth it.
yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you. But enough of JDM and the somber news. We got a series win to talk about. So let's get into it. First game. You know, we had a typical Quintana start. Gutted out against their ace Hunter Green. And we get we win the game on Friday. On Saturday, nobody was available in the bullpen. Like you said, we had a chance to sweep the series because Severino had a bounce back game. He looked a little better than he did the first go around, and we just didn't have the bullpen to pull it out because when you're playing 15 games in 14 days, you're going to have games like this, unfortunately, because I know everybody's upset at Mendoza for managing his bullpen, but when you have 15 games in 14 days, I don't know what you want him to do. I want him to win the game that at hand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And worry about tomorrow's game tomorrow.
No, for sure. You got to manage every game like it's the World Series, because,
Well,
well,
tomorrow's
not to that
easy.
extent, not
Yeah,
to that
yeah, yeah,
extent, but you gotta manage games to win. And I remember, I don't know if Mendoza does the same thing, but or if every manager does the same thing, but there are guys that are in the green, in the yellow, and in the red. And if you only say that you have five guys that are able to play, that are in the green, also in the yellow, because those yellow guys, those are the guys that come up. And out of a 14-man bullpen, or no, sorry, a 10-man bullpen, um, it it seems like you can pull out more of your guys. And I know you don't want to pitch them back-to-back days. I know that always
No,
hurt.
it's not the back to back. It would have been 3 games in a row. That was the issue. That was the issue. So that's the issue, guys. It's not the back-to-back games because they actually pitched back-to-back games. It's the 3 games in a row that they couldn't do because they are relievers at the end of the day. So, and you don't want to kill Edwin Diaz in April. So you manage. You want to win games, but you also have to manage for the whole season, and it is only April. You know what I mean? So you're going to have games like this, and then but we pull it out in the third game because Sean and I had another great start, and so and guess who woke up? Our buddy Lindor woke up a little bit. Let's go. Star of the game, Lindor. Probably could have had a bigger game, but I'm just glad he woke up a little bit. So so our pitching still holding strong. They're keeping us in games. Nimmo seems to be breaking out. We're not going to break down each and every player, but unless we have to, because they're doing that badly. But like we did the first couple series where Nimmo and Lindor were 3 for 55 and killing us. But now you got Nimmo. My biggest concern with Nimmo was he was striking out. Guess what? He's not doing anymore. He's not striking out, so I'm okay with it. He's walking, he's getting the hits, he's waking up. Lindor, it seems like when Ron Darling kind of mentioned this in the broadcast, he tends to break out of his slump when he's batting right-handed. But overall, pretty good series. What do you think of the series?
Yeah, no, I mean, our pitching has been the story of this season so far, right? And it's kept us in every game that we've won so far because our bats have obviously not been there. But even in the games that we've lost, they've been coming down to the wire, and those extra inning games always hurt with our bullpen. And obviously, Severino always gets unlucky somehow, and then gets in the groove. I had my brother over here. We were watching the game on Saturday, and it was when Tyrone Taylor was going for that fly ball, and he just he pulled Marcel. No, who was it? He pulled a Ozzy Albies out there in left field, and went overshot the ball, and it
Oh,
kind of.
Ozuna. You're talking about Ozuna.
I was gonna say Ozuna. I don't know why I said Albies. I always get those guys mixed up because they're kind of the same to me, but they're Braves. But yeah, he overshot the ball and got unlucky, and then I was like, well, that's the mistake that's gonna hurt Severino. He's gonna lose his groove from here, and he's gonna end up giving up a run, and that's exactly what happened. But he was able to bounce back, and he was able to get back in the groove of things. Threw a lot of pitches because again he got unlucky a few times. But man, if he can stay that sharp like he did in spring training and like he showed us on Saturday, man, that 1-2-3 rotation with Mania pitching as well as he has is really something to be on notice of. Because our bullpen, although they don't have the flashy names, they're also able to keep us in games. But like you mentioned before, my key takeaway from this series is keep Lindor on the right side of the plate because when he's batting right-handed, it seems like he's so much more comfortable in there than he is batting left-handed. I don't care about the pitching matchup. Keep him on the right side as long as he's able to hit balls. Because what does it matter if he's not able to hit balls on the left side of the plate?
Yeah,
So
no, I'm with you. I can't argue with you there, but unfortunately, that's not going to happen. His swing is different from the right side than the left side, and I think that's a big part of it. He has less of an uppercut swing on the right side than on the left side. But he's not going to switch, unless he completely tanks on the left side. Which who knows, he might, but
I
hopefully
mean,
not. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. But I know a lot of Mets fans were talking about that, and but he's a switch hitter for a reason, and like I said before, he's a notorious slow starter. Switch hitting is part of that slow start. I'm not worried about Lindor at all. I'm actually with Steve Cohen. Let the Mets fans give him a standing ovation on Friday when he comes out. Him, Pete, let's get going. Let's get behind our players. So I'm with Steve Cohen. Uncle Stevie's right. Let's support our players. We already know what Lindor is. We already know he starts slow. So why are we getting on him like it's the end of the world?
No, we never thought it was the end of the world with Lindor. We just are always. I think we expect the most out of him, and that's
Um,
always how it's been. Uh,
Unfortunately, he's getting some threats. Is what I'm hearing from around, and that, and I'm actually talking to those Met fans. Let's give him some love, man. We already know who he is. We saw what he did last year. Give him some love. Let's be easy.
Yeah, I see a lot of comments about how he really is the deciding factor for our season. How he basically lost us the season last year because he wasn't able to get off to a hot start. That's all a load of crap. You don't need to listen to those people because when you see his resume and what he's been able to do for the team, you know that he's given his all, especially playing injured, banged up, almost every single game. Um, we got to remember that he's also just one player on the team, and he's not going to be able to win us ball games. When he's hot, that always helps, but we got to rely on the whole team, the whole squad to get us through. Because
Yeah.
we saw it today. We had bases loaded twice today, and we weren't able to produce. So it takes every single guy on that team to be able to produce, not just Lindor. But like you said, he's going to get it back.
Yeah, no, I'm not too worried about it. And like the only one that still concerns me, and let's get into the concerns of the episode is I'm still concerned for Jeff McNeil. I don't know if he's got it anymore. You know what I mean? Jeff McNeil, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
He had the home run on Saturday, but you know, yesterday, I mean, today he looked exactly the same as before, So that's my biggest concern. I got a little minimal concern with the bullpen, because we still got what 7 more games in a row. That's a minimal concern though, because that it is what it is. We're 15 games in 14 days. There's nothing we can do about that. But my biggest concern is McNeil.
yeah.
I'm still concerned about him.
No, there's obviously just reason to be concerned because he's not been looking good, and it seems like he's changed his approach at the plate because he's not swinging the same bat that he did when he won his batting title, and it looks like he's swinging for the fences. It's obviously what worked for him one time this season, but that's not the kind of player he is. Um, I'll ditto what I said last week or last episode. Just keep him in the 9 hole, because it just seems like if he does get his stuff, that's going to be great to carry on rallies. But if he doesn't, then you know that you can't hurt him from being down there. I don't know how much it's gonna hurt us in the long run because obviously we got some guys coming up that can replace him in the future. But man, it just
But they're
hurts that
not ready. But they're not ready yet.
yeah, it hurts that he's not ready. That he's not right now while we wait.
Well, I mean, the young guys aren't ready. Williams and Acuna would be the guys to come up for him that are the young guys, and they're not ready. They're not ready to come up yet.
Yeah, maybe we have something that the Mets fans have been dying for. And by the time we get to crunch time, we go out and get Jonathan India and bring him over because we know that that's a trade piece that's on the table.
Yeah, man, nah, I don't know. I don't know. He didn't look that good against us this series, and I know he's a long. His family's a lifelong Mets. They're lifelong Mets fans, but I'd rather wait for the young guys to get ready.
Piece for piece, man. Piece for piece. I feel like they would do it. McNeil for Jonathan India.
Yeah, they're not gonna do it. They're not gonna do that right now, anyways.
They don't need him. They don't
That
need him.
well, they don't need him until they need him until McLean comes back. When McLean comes back, then they don't need him. But right now, they need him.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's not going to happen now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe in July, when things push comes
Well,
to shove.
and by then, the kids might be ready. But I'm more concerned about right now. McNeil right now is what I'm concerned about, and the kids aren't ready right now. So we gotta live out McNeil. right now, and that's my concern. It's April, May, and June. My concerns with McNeil, and because I don't see, you know, I saw a little light with the home run, but like you're saying, I want to see McNeil hit line drives. I want to see McNeil not be popping up. The pop ups are what's concerning me. He's popping everything up. I don't know if it is what you're saying that he's swinging for the fences every time. I don't. I actually don't know. Did he lose it? Did he not lose it? Maybe what is going on with McNeil? I don't know.
It just seemed like Tommy Pham had a point last year when he was talking about that winning mentality in the clubhouse, because you could kind of see it in his play when all these other guys strike out, get pop ups, do all this and that to get out. They're frustrated. They're really passionate about their at bats. When McNeil does it, he's like, "Oh, it's another pop up, whatever." And maybe he just lost the competition mindset that made him so competitive. He stopped competing for himself in the batting title and is no longer really caring about these at bats. And when you don't care about your at bats, then what are you gonna do? You're gonna do exactly what McNeil did and just get out every time. But I hope that that's not the case. I hope that I'm wrong. That he proves me wrong this series and breaks out into the same McNeil that we knew, because we're gonna need everybody this series, including McNeil.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I don't know, McNeil, from what I understand, is a very competitive guy. And he likes to win at everything. If you heard the stories in spring training, even when they were out bowling, he was or whatever they were playing, he was very competitive and wanting to win. So I don't think it's a competitive aspect. It might just be that either he's swinging for the fences, like you said, or he's not the same guy anymore, and he's lost something, and that could, because that could well be the case. And but who knows, we'll see what, because right now we got to live with him, because there isn't, the young guys aren't ready. But the other concern I have is, trying to get Mania past 5 innings. you know he keeps throwing a lot of pitches. It seems like 1 or 2 innings kind of raise his pitch count up, and he can't get past the fifth inning.
I'm not as concerned with that part because he got unlucky with some really good at bats from some people that you weren't expecting it from, and but his stuff was locating really well. He barely walked anybody. He was just getting fouled off a lot, where he was running up 15 pitches in at bat, and which ran up his pitch count really fast. And that's what was frustrating me, was that it wasn't anything that was damaging the Mets. It was just that he was kind of getting worn out by the 1 or 2 at bats per inning, and at points he started walking people once it got later in the innings because they were wearing him out. But I think it's just one of those things that I think this was just an unlucky start, because last time he was out there, he was able to get up there with 6 innings and 90 pitches, which is a normal thing to do, right? And I think it was just kind of one of those things that the Reds just know how to hit and how to wear out a hitter. So I'm not too concerned about Mania. I think he can still provide the ump that we need, and he's still locating stuff. As long as he's not walking anybody like crazy, then and not giving up any home runs, then I'm good. But once he starts doing those things, then we got something to talk about.
Yeah, no, you might be right. So we'll see on that. But let's get to the who's right part of the podcast. And so you picked Fraley as the Mets killer, and he had like 2 at bats all series.
He had
And
a chance. He had a chance to really be a Mets killer in Friday's game, but he ended up striking out or batting into a double play or something like
yeah,
that. But
yeah, and I had Spencer Steer, and he had himself a series. So obviously, I was right on the Met side of things. Um, And I mean, on the Red side of things, and on the Mets side of things, you picked uh, Beatty, and I picked Alvarez. And obviously, Alvarez slowed down a little bit. He didn't have the majors series like I was thinking. You know, he sat a game because he was getting beat up a lot. You know, with
He
those
still
foul
went 2 for
balls.
4 today, though. He still went 2 for 4.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. But he, he still shows the hustle and still shows the game. But he sat out a game because he got beat up a little bit. You know, that game yesterday might have been a game that he DH is if he wasn't so if he didn't get all those five balls off of him. And but you won on this side because Beatty not only had himself a good offensive game, but he had himself a great offensive series. I mean, defensive series. And so, he's showing it with the glove and the bat. And people were concerned about his glove. And you were saying it. You weren't concerned about his glove, and he's showing it now. So, what do you
Yeah,
think?
they said it in the broadcast booth that he's playing with a passion this year that really excites you and really gets you on your feet, really makes you root for him because he's playing with his hair on fire now. And we knew that when he was able to get back in the groove of things, that he's going to kill it in the major leagues. And we're not going to say that he's a superstar yet. He's not going to. I don't know if he's going to break out and to be, batting 300 with 30 home runs, but as long as he's playing passionately and providing the hits like he has been at timely at bats and being able to play solid defense, that's all that we asked for from Brett Beatty, and that's all we've asked for from him from the beginning. But we still know that he has the potential to be that. You guys got to remember he was in the same draft class with Corbin Carroll, and he was drafted before Corbin Carroll. Not saying that they're the same player, but that's just the perspective that you guys can look at of what kind of player he can be. Um, and so I'm still going to continue to cheer him on. I hope that he can continue to stay mentally aware because we know that eventually the bat dies down and you make a few errors here on the field. But as long as you're able to brush them off like Lindor does. Lindor is really good at that, and I think it's great that he has him playing right next to him because he's going to be able to keep him mentally right. But as long as he's able to do that, then I'm confident for his future, because it looks bright.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. So, guys, we need your help. We need your help on this one. I got the Mets killer right. Victor got the Mets player right. Who won this one? Who's right? Who's right on this one? Is it me because I'm the reigning champ? Is it Victor because he picked the Mets player? Does he get the edge because it was the Mets player that he picked? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think, and give us what you think, and maybe we could decide a winner on this one.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, for sure. And ultimately, we won this series, and so the Mets player might be more important. But like he said, let us know because I'm about to sweep the rest of this year and go a clean slate. So he might need this one. So you guys might want to try to give it to him, but we all know who's right.
always, always, always. You already know. But let's move on to the preview of the next series. What are we gonna say? We're going up against the Atlanta Braves, right? Their bats are hot. I think they have a team OPS of over 1,000, and that's a team OPS over 1,000. That's ridiculous. But let me just give you the matchups tomorrow. We got Tehran against Morton. Tuesday we got Hauser against Lopez. Um, Wednesday we got Quintana. They haven't announced a starter, but we're thinking probably Bryce Elder will come up on Wednesday and make that start. And then we got the series finale with Severino and Freed finishing up on Thursday. Obviously they haven't started with the pitching like they wanted to yet, but the bats are alive. So this is, for me, I'm hoping that my biggest hope is a series split. Let's go 2-2. What do you
Yeah,
think?
I'm for that. I'm for that because I'm not excited for this Tehran start. We have the two best Colombian pitchers in baseball now, and we can say that. But it doesn't mean that they're the best. And Tehran's a little old, and he's playing his old team. Might get familiar with them, and that can either be good or bad. And for our sake, I hope it's good, but I can see him getting really pieced up in this game, which can hurt us really bad in the long run because obviously we're in the stretch of baseball where we don't get an off day for a while, and if he gets pieced up early and say it only lasts 4 innings, and he has to go out there and we have to use a bullpen game for him, then that's not going to look good for us for the rest of the series. So it's going to really matter how Tehran pitches tomorrow. And if he can at least get a six, if he can at least get a six, then I'm confident for where we can land because we don't want to exhaust our bullpen for the rest of this series. That's going to really hurt.
That's the problem. He hasn't pitched for a couple weeks, and I don't expect. Six is asking a lot for his first start. I'm hoping for five, and but you're right. We need him to at least go five because most we don't have a day off until next Thursday. Think about that. Think about that. We don't have a day off till next Thursday after the Pittsburgh series before we can even rest guys, full day. So, yeah,
Yeah.
it is important for Tehran to outlast, but that like I'm with you. I don't have a lot of confidence. I questioned the Tehran signing from the beginning. I would have rather seen a young guy make a start and um, and then call up Budo after that. Because obviously a young guy can make a start because Budo did 2 years ago. He made a start against Philadelphia, and he wasn't ready. You know what I mean? He wasn't ready. It's not something that we're gonna say he was ready. He wasn't ready. He got lit up, but look where how far Budo has come since then. So any young pitcher that you could have called up, or somebody else on the 40 man that could have came up and made that start, and then called up Budo. It didn't have to be one of our young prospects. It could have been anybody. But I don't think Tehran's the answer. I hope I'm wrong. I want egg on my face, Julio, if you're listening. I want egg on my face, but right now I don't believe in Tehran.
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't know how many Mets fans believe in Tehran right now, especially going into Atlanta. But we need him to perform well. These young guys will come up eventually. They're gonna have plenty of chances throughout the year. So maybe we don't want to exhaust them and kind of wear them out with this big league experience, uh, facing the big bad Braves first. Maybe that hurts their development even more. But as long as if Tehran can perform well, he'll shut us up. He'll shut up all the haters out there that are saying that he's going to perform horribly. But I am excited. I was excited to see Spencer Strider because we tend to hit him up pretty well, and he never pitches well against us. So that would have been a nice little treat to bang up his ERA a little more, even though he already got banged up. But it's going to the pitching matchup that I'm excited for is really the Severino versus Freed on Thursday. I think that's going to be a good pitching duel that we're not expecting because although these guys are good, Max Fried got beat up in his last start, right? He's got an 18 ERA, so he's not looking good right now. And Severino is also not coming off of ideal starts. And so I think both of these guys are going to try to have something to prove and pitch out, have a little pitcher's duel. And that's going to be exciting this because that's not something that we're going to be used to seeing between the Mets and the Braves.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, I don't know if we'll have a pitcher's duel, but hope we're, hope our bats wake up. Actually, let's transition. Who's the Mets player of this series that you're thinking? You want me to let you go first?
I mean, if you're gonna choose the same guy, then I don't need to. I don't need to wait on you. But you go first. You got this one.
All right, all right, all right. So, um, I'm actually, I'm gonna get behind Pete Alonso. I think he's going to come up and he's going to be the best player of the series because he's a guy that yeah, he has these stretches, but he's a guy that comes up clutch when we need him. So right now we need his bat to come alive. He hasn't been the same since that game tying home run, and so I feel like he's gonna kind of um, wake up a little bit along with Lindor and Nimmo. I think that top of the lineup is gonna start hitting, and Alonso's gonna wake up a little bit in Atlanta.
Yeah, you're turning the page out of my playbook, choosing a guy, hoping that they're going to be well because we know that they were going to need them to play well to win a couple of these games. But that's interesting that you chose Alonso because it's similar to the opposition that I was going to choose, where I think it's going to be a real battle. But before we get into that, let me give you my pick. I think that um, the Mets star, the Mets captain this series is going to be none other than our boy Francisco Lindor, because I think he's going to start. I think this was his breakout. We need these leaders to kind of lead the charge because I think it's going to be a high pressure series like it always is in Atlanta. Doesn't matter who's better, who's worse. If they're going to wipe the floor with us or not, there's some heat there between Atlanta and New York, and we need these veterans to keep a level head on and continue to carry our team on, and these young guys to really see them lead by example. Because I was so close to choosing Brett Beatty again because we know that when he came up in 2020, what 2022 was it, and for the first at his first at bat or second at bat, his first major league home run was over in Truist Park, and he was able to break out then. And I was hoping, I was thinking I should take him again because he seems comfortable playing in Atlanta. But no, we really need these vets to really carry us on to victory.
All right, all right. So we'll see what happens. So let's transition. Who's the Mets? Who's the potential out of that lineup? Who's the Mets killer?
Yeah. So like I said earlier, I really respect the Pete Alonso pick as being our Mets captain this time around, our Mets star, because I really think it's going to be a battle of the home runs this series, and he really got a lot of shine last year for hitting more home runs than Pete, but I think he's going to play with an edge on his shoulder because of that as well, and hopefully come into Atlanta hot with something to prove. But Matt Olson is also going to try to play with something to prove too. And I think that he can really beat up the Mets pitching if that home run ball gets away from him. And we know how much he likes his home runs. And I think it's going to be a back and forth battle between him and Pete Alonso. So I think he's going to be a real Mets killer of the series.
It's good. It's good. I'm thinking. You might be right there, but the guy that I'm thinking, he's at a really good series against the Diamondbacks, and I think he's going to keep it going. I think the guy I'm thinking that's going to stay hot for Atlanta is Austin Riley. He had a few good games, and I think he's going to stay hot. And I mean, everybody's hot on that lineup, but I think he's the one that's going to stand out the most out of all the Braves players. But just like all the other series, we hope these guys um, stand out, but not too much. right? Let's
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
keep it down, and let's hope they're not Mets killers. But yeah, let's keep it going and let's see what happens. So I'm hoping for a 2-2 split. That's what I'm hoping to get out of this series because they beat up on Arizona, and Arizona's a playoff contender. But we also just got off of a series win on with Cincinnati, a fairly very offensive team. So let's see what happens. But I think that's where we're going to end it. Before we get out of here, Victor, any last words?
yeah, yeah. I forgot to mention that I was also right in the sense that the Steelers really beat us up this series, and luckily that's not something that we're gonna have to worry about too much with the Braves. Obviously, they got Ronald Acuna Jr. who steals a lot of bags, but aside from that, Michael Harris can steal lot of bags as well. But really, it's going to be the ball being put in play that's going to be the deciding factor this series. But I'm with you. I'm hoping for a series split, but because I'm a Mets optimist, I'm gonna say we're gonna win it and go 3-1 this series. So let's go. We're gonna talk about it on top of the world next time we talk to you guys. Let's go Mets.
All right, all right, all right. Hey, before we get out of here, guys, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave your comments. We need your help. We need your help to determine who's right on this one. Obviously, the returning champ, you got to knock out the champ before you can count a win. Let us know what you think. Put in your comments and like this video, subscribe to the channel. And guys, until next time, let's go Mets.
Let's go Mets.